I took a class the other night called Recovery101. So it's life after addiction. So figure I'd share it with you. So they had a bunch of screenshots. I couldn't keep up, so I'm just going to read off what I have on my phone. Um, what is recovery? Recovery is a personal, spiritual, social, and environmental journey to create a new life. It is a process of self-discovery, self-renewal, and transformation. It's a personal process to everyone's recovery journey is different. This also means that the only successful person in recovery can put it into work to make a recovery journey successful. Recovery is also not the same but being cured. Recovery is about dealing and replacing the losses you endured while living with an addiction. Like a lifelong process of learning and self-discovering. There is no quick fix. At the beginning of a recovery, you're balancing your emotions, you're taking a change in your physical state, you're drinking or dream using, information accessory overload, feelings increased sensitivity and ver- vulnerability, feeling of wanting to give and go perfectly normal. Abstinence stage is accepting that you have addiction, practicing honesty in life, developing coping skills for dealing with cravings, becoming active with self help groups, and practicing self care, saying no and setting boundaries. Accepting that you have an addiction, practicing honesty in your life, developing coping skills for dealing with the cravings, becoming active in self help groups, participating in self care, saying no, urging or understanding the stages of relapse, urging friendships, changing friendships, understanding the dangers of the cross addiction, dealing with a post acute withdrawal, development with alternatives to engaging in substance and addiction behavior. Repair stage is using continuative cognitive behavior therapy to overcome negative self labeling and catastrophizing. Understanding the individuals is not their addictions, repairing relationships and making amends when possible, starting to feel more comfortable with being uncomfortable, improving self care and making it an integral part of your recovery, developing a balanced and healthy diet, continuing to enlarge in self help groups, discovering more health as awareness usings. Growth stage. Identifying and repairing negative thinking and self destructive patterns. Understanding how negative familiar patterns have been passed down, which will help the individual to let go of resentments and move forward. Challenging fears with cognitive behavior therapy and mind relaxation. Setting healthy boundaries. Beginning to give back and help others. Evaluating one's lifestyle periodically and making sure the individual is on track. What is withdrawal? It's when a person uses a substance or behaviors quite frequently their brain adjusts to the presence of the stimulus. They become emotionally and physiologically dependent on substance and rely on it as a function to feed the normal. Withdrawal is what happens when a person who quits a substance or behavior dramatically reduces how much or one engages in. Withdrawal can include combination of medical, physical, emotional, and symptoms which are dangerous and if left unmanaged. Things to know when withdrawing: length and severity of the withdrawal, the higher chance of overdose, seek help if symptoms don't go away, and staying well nourished and hydrated. There's also post-acute withdrawal symptom, which is called pause. If the withdrawal symptoms last longer than one or two pause you have developed. Folks who use substances engage in behaviors for longer this time are at higher of developing pause. This is brain's way of healing and balancing again. These symptoms can last weeks, months, even years. Symptoms can cause a person to relapse, then to try to relive the discomfort. It can feel like a roller coaster of symptoms that come and go unexpectedly. Each episode may last only one day or continue for a year. It varies for each person. And the symptoms and pauses: irritability, hostility, depression, anxiety, mood swings, low energy or fatigue, sleep disruptions and insomnia, limited ability to focus, lack of libido, and unexpected chronic pain, restless legs, and headaches. Withdrawal symptoms: short and long-term withdrawal can occur with most, but their most common ones are alcohol, benazines, cannabis, cocaine, methamphetamines, and opiates. Withdrawal and pause by substance: alcohol, delirium, tremors, including seizures and psychosis, exhaustion, the lifelike symptoms. Benazines is insomnia, fatigue, intense craving lasting months, and opioids is a craving, exhaustion, chronic pain, cognitive, cognitive impairment, sleep depression, anxiety, and depression. Uh, Withdrawal and pauses and substance stimuluses, methamphetamines, antimethamphetamines, cocaine, Ritalin, etc. Paranoia, twitching, tremors, and aggression can have one-eyed side effect and can make most folks feel extremely tired and extremely weak. Normal long-term effects control problems and impulses. Cannabis is stress, depression, paranoia, insomnia, sleep destruction, including intense dreams persisting regular for 45 days. Sorry, dude, I smoke weed and I've never had anything like that. I don't know. They're mixing shit together because no, weed does not do that to you. So fuck you on that one. Um, Things can worsen with pause. Um, Unusing the substance or behavior choice, how long, frequent, and how often, how accurate, no, acute emotional symptoms that arise during the first year of recovery, and co-recurring physical and or mental conditions, the kind that substance supports available and provides. How pause is treated. Educational peers without withdrawal and to what to expect in recovery. Celebrate every accomplishment. Encourage patience. Finding natural ways to help with sleep problems. Exercise and nourishment. Balanced diet. Access potential um, co-concurring disorders which may emerge or re-emerge. Joining peer support groups. Continuing behavior therapy to help manage impulse control, taking symptoms seriously, medications if needed, and in or outpatient treatment recovery services after peer programs are provided. Changing the language around addictions. Addictions we are people who use drugs. Junkies are people with a substantial drug use disorder. Users are people who lived with experience. Drug users are people who lived with experiences. Former drug users, people who have used drugs. Clean and sober are people in recovery. Drug or substance use, drug or substance misuse, substance drug use, substance disorder, opioid use disorder, problematic drug and drug dependency, and recreational drug users. Changing the stigma around addictions, social stigma. It's negative in labels, negative attitude towards folks who use substances and those who associate with them, ignoring or avoiding all the person with the addiction. Structural functions or stigma, social stigma from health, social, and safety workers, and not taking requests from folks in addition for help, not helping affected folks getting the help they need. And self-stigma is when someone internalizes and social structural stigma and applies it to themselves. Internalized shame can stop from getting help. How to stop stigma. Learn more about the addictions and recovery. Remember that addictions is a medical disorder. Being respectful and caring. The opposition of addictions is connection, and understanding. Changing the way we think about addictions and mental health, and try not to judge or be an ally throughout listening and understanding. Mental health and addictions. Roughly 50% of individuals with severe health mental illness are affected by substance use. 37% of alcohol users and 53% of drug users have also one serious mental health disorder or Of all folks diagnosed with mental illness, 29% use alcohol or drugs. When other people have diagnosed a mental health disorder and substance use disorder, when they are said to be dual diagnosed and having recurring recurring diagnoses. Signs of conditionings. Substances are often self medicated symptoms of mental distress. Substances increase the underlying use for mental risk. Substances used worsening for mental health symptoms. Issue seeing and concurring diagnosis is chronic substance use may be traumatizing, and the traumatic events that occur can create serious mental health like PSTD, depression, eating order disorder, and more. Folks may engage in risky behavior, making that choice that costs them an experience in anxiety and find other survival and protective mechanisms. Unprotected sex or sharing needs with folks, including STDs, can lead to the contracting of disease, which can turn into the means of a struggle and depression and grief over life changing consequences. Depression is a common effect of sleep depression, lack of self care, and other consequences that can from emerging in addictions behavior, using other substances, which can cope deepen into a disorder over time, and seeing overpouring and recurring diagnosis. Chronic substance can be traumatizing and traumatic events that occur and create mental health issues like PSTD, depression, and eating disorders. Follows may engage risky behavior, making a choice that caused them to experience anxiety. That was the same thing, unprotected senses. Uh, Treatment for concurring diagnosis. Parallel treatment of mental health diagnosis and substance use disorders by members of a high trained quality treatment team. Acknowledgement of the importance of psychotherapeutic medication such as an antidepressant or anti-anxiety meds and treatment of concurring diseases. A supportive approach to therapy that really reinforces self-esteem and builds self-condition instead of confronting the individual with negative, aggressive statements. An inclusive treatment stating that brings partners, spouses, children, and other family members into therapy for individual counseling, group meetings, or other education. And your SMART goal in recovery has made things very specific, very measurable, very achievable, very relevant, and very time bound. And then they had a thing where they had a bunch of colors and you would go through listening to music, what made you angry, what you made you sad, just what music set you off, what made you certain ways. And then that was pretty much the end of the class. So that was it. It was an hour and a half class. It was really good. A lot of discussions. I like discussions, but that was some really good information. So I thought I'd share that with you for anybody that needed that kind of out of withdrawal, like definitely relapsing, anything like that. Mental health, definitely that's your number one. You got to deal with that shit first and foremost. So, talk to doctors, therapists, counselors, psychiatrists. It doesn't like, who cares about the stigma shit? If I have to walk into the mental health care in order to get some drugs, goddamn right, I'm going to go in there to get some anxiety pills, that's for sure. Like, I'm not going to go back to the almighty bottle. So, good luck with everybody out there struggling. It's another day. Take another day. And if you're clean and sober, yay, one more day down and many more to go. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it. Take care. Peace out. Love vegans.